bitches on the beat.
What's going on, everyone? Cristian Montalvo here with your show, Relate to Elevate, where we relate personal relationships so you can elevate your business. Today, we're super excited. I am your host, along with
Sandra
and
Steven Herrera.
Today, we have a special guest star. I could not be more excited. I couldn't think of anyone who will be our first guest other than the one, the only superstar, rock star, Mr. Johnny Martinez.
Man, I'm excited to be here.
Johnny, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, thank you guys for having me. This is a great spot, great venue for this podcast, man.
Excellent.
I'm excited to have a great conversation with you guys.
Yeah, you had a little tour. What'd you think?
Dude, this is about a 3,000 square foot, maybe even more. Maybe I'm downplaying a little bit.
Yeah,
you guys, everything, 12,000.
12,000 square
That's
foot.
how much I know about square footage, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got anywhere from massage to Botox to, just fillers, a lot of wood stuff. But I think men are doing that kind of stuff now too.
We do testosterone for men.
Oh,
Hormone replacement therapy.
Yeah. Put some hair in your chest.
We do also the hair restoration.
Oh, I might be needing that soon
Do
too.
that too.
You got to start.
Believe it or not, men do facials nowadays too.
They do. And now here's a fun fact. I do manis and petties, man.
Yeah, really? Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm
How do
saying
you feel
that
when
here
you're
in
doing
public.
that? How do you feel when you do that?
Dude, I love it, man.
Really?
Okay, so let me tell you this. About 2 or 3 years ago, I was like, or even longer, I was like, there's no way I'm going to get that done. I don't want to even touching my nails. I'm a man, right? But now, when I go with my wife, because I would always sit in the car while she does her thing for about an hour.
Right.
And I was like, let me try it. Because my girls get manis and petties. And I'm like,
Of course.
let me try it. So they said, Dad, you should do it. So I go in, get it done. Therapeutic. It's just healing for my mind and soul. It makes me feel good when I have them there.
Yes, it makes your
It makes me look good.
I see you got the nails buffed.
Yeah.
I see them.
They're buffed and they're shiny.
I've done the mani. I had a girl that took me to the same thing. If you're gonna have me go to the salon, I want you to have them done. And I've done only the mani, but the petty I'm out.
No, dude, you got to get it
You
done.
need to get the petty done.
You haven't seen my toes? They're nice.
It doesn't matter if they're nice. To keep them nice.
Yeah, I'm just not there yet.
Guys, you got to take it out of the way. I've done the mani, the petty, the Brazilian wax. I've done
I end up bleaching too.
yeah. I've done it. It feels good. But listen, before we jump into conversation, Johnny, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know who you are. I know some of your life and some of the accolades, different accomplishments. But why don't you tell the audience who doesn't know who Johnny Martinez is?
Dude, I'm all the above, man. I'm a Swiss Army knife and I have a lot of passion to help people. All right. So I'm an entrepreneur, but before I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm a motivator, I'm an influencer, and then all the rest of the stuff stacks up. Realtor, podcaster, all these other things, man. As I get older, I can see the value that people need sometimes. So I think it is my responsibility to help people, not only my family, but my friends and everybody else who's affiliated in the community, help them grow. So I do a lot of different things, advice, I do mentorship, I do a lot of different things, man. Business ethics, business, one-on-one coaching, things like that. But I just help people. That's what I do.
And that's the main reason why I wanted to bring you on, because we actually created this podcast so people can relate their romantic, personal, family relationships to business. We want them to relate those relationships and elevate their business. Hence the name of the podcast, Relate to Elevate. And what's the name of your podcast, by the way?
We are the Social Plug Podcast. Social Plug Media is our platform. So just think of Social Plug Media as ESPN, right?
Gotcha.
And under ESPN, you have First Take, you have Sports Center, Pardon the Interruption. You have all these different shows. So the Social Plug Podcast is a show under Social Plug Media.
Nice.
So we have Collab Space Studios as well. So under Collab Space Studios, we have several podcasts that are born within that realm. So we have a sports podcast hosted by Austin Hanna and Coy over at Double Shots in New Braunfels. It's a sports bar, so they talk sports.
Oh, cool.
And then we got a business wealth mastermind. They talk money, finances, relationships, things like that. So that's another podcast. J Rock our producer, has Kick Rocks.
Yep, I see.
So we have several different platforms. He talks wrestling. It's more of a comedic podcast. We bring people in just to shoot the shit
Hmm.
and just to have fun.
That's always fun.
So yeah, I mean, so we have different layers under our umbrella, man. So
Nice.
we just have a good time.
Nice, Johnny. Let me ask you this, because I know you and I know your wife, both in real estate. And one thing that when I was on your podcast, by the way, been there, done that, and got the T-shirt. See what I did there? Got the T-shirt. So when I went, you said something that was very important. We were able to break bread together, and you said, when someone gets my wife, they get me, and when they get me, they get my wife. We are a team. We're together. Whatever happens in our life, it's her and I, ride or die. And that stood out to me so much because, again, we're going back to relationships and business. How do you think having a great relationship with your friend, your best friend, your life partner, your wife, mother of your children, how important or impactful has that been to both of you doing business in real estate?
So great question. It's a loaded question. So there's a lot of layers to it.
It is.
So my wife and I, we're a package deal. If you get me, you get her, just like I said, and you get everything that I am affiliated with. Okay. So to answer your question, there is a whole dynamic that the relationship is not just business centric. It's people centric, right? So we want to make sure that we provide not only a service, but we provide us, our insight, our testimonials, our resources. Because it's not just a business thing. Now we're going to connect you with Cristian Montalvo, with Steven, with Sandra, all these different people. So it is a business-centric thing, and people have to be able to trust us. So we put a lot of trust, faith, and confidence into our service and into our products, where now people are not just looking at us as a business entity. They're looking at us as a valuable resource of information or valuable resource of service. And you asked a loaded question. What other elements do you have out of that question that I did not answer on that first take?
We'll get to it. I mean, it was a loaded question, but I think you've answered like the nucleus of it. Like, how does having a good relationship in your romantic relationship with your wife, how does that transfer onto the business side of things?
So I think when we were just talking before the show here, the dynamic in my relationship with my wife, we were friends first.
That's
so
important.
It is important because a lot of people just jump into the relationship saying, "Oh, I'm in love with you, baby," and all this kind of stuff. And so,
I think I know someone like that.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's what you do. But what's worked for me, we've been together for 24 years.
Johnny, I feel the time.
Been married for 20 years.
That's what I was going to ask. How long y'all been there?
Yeah.
But we were friends first, okay? And I got her at a very young age. I don't want to sound like P. Diddy.
Yeah.
She was 18 years old.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And I was 23, 24, right? So it didn't sit well with her dad. Just like if it's me right now, I got 2 teenage daughters. It wouldn't sit well with me either. And my wife and I talk about that all the time.
Right.
So there was a lot of trust. The thing I had going for me with her dad is I was an established Air Force member.
Okay.
I already
had
had
service.
I appreciate that. I had credibility and I conducted myself well. I was respectful and all these things. But we were friends first for about a good year, right? And then, I was still dating other people and this and that. But I had good, I had awareness that she wasn't an ugly duckling, but she hadn't reached her potential yet.
A late bloomer. So to speak.
And I've told her that. And if she was here today, I mean, we talk about that all the time because we're very honest with each other. You got to have that trust factor with your spouse as well. So I saw her not as a project, but I saw her as a potential partner later on down the line. So I had my fun, whatever. And then we eventually started dating, right? And then we started becoming closer. And then I started falling in love with her. She started falling in love with me. Nice. And that's how we progressed. Because we were friends first. And guys, in the very beginning, here's where a lot of guys fail. A lot of women fail. You got to tell them the truth. What do you like? What don't you like?
Why are you even laughing?
So I told her in the very beginning, hey, I like women. I like going to strip clubs, things like that. Are you down with that? She's like, not really, but I'm going to trust you that we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And eventually I grew out of that phase because I was a young guy. I was 23, 24 years old because that's all I knew.
You matured out of it. Yeah.
Once I got to know her and understand that she was my support system, that she made me better.
Sure.
That she was there through thick and thin. She protected me when people would talk out of line, things like that. And she spoke highly of me. said, hey, Johnny, you're my mentor. And my love language, guys, is words of affirmation.
Sure.
Right? Significance. I like feeling significant in my relationships and in my brotherhoods and in my networks. And she made me feel significant. I knew she was loyal to me. And I was like, man, I have something special here. So as we progressed, I fulfilled my obligation in the Air Force. And before I got out of the Air Force, we started business together. But we were interchangeable, right? So if I wrap myself around the telephone pole, she's going to be able to take up the business just like I will. And we understood each other. So she's another me, but I'm an alpha guy and she's more of a submissive beta. However, don't get that twisted. She's very alpha when she needs to be.
So I've got a question. So and again, first of all, my laughing was not laughing at you.
No.
By any means. We were laughing because we had a previous episode in regards to being honest and open with your potential partner.
Right.
And me and Sandra believe that it was basically, would you tell your partner every single thing? And me and Sandra believe yes. Because again, we want to be transparent, clear. This is what you get. What you see is what you get.
Right.
If they don't like it, ride or die, then you're not going to be part of this. So that's why I was laughing, because we have different views in regards to that. But I totally agree. But one thing I wanted to ask, did she have those business that business acumen before the relationship, or was it just kind of bred in her and you just kind of sparked it?
The second part of what you said.
Okay.
I'm from the south side of San Antonio, and same on her. We don't, and one of those questions is, are leaders born or are they made? Right? You hear that all the time, right? I think they're made with the connections and the resources and the atmosphere that you have around you. She always had it in her, but she didn't know. And we talk about it all the time, Steve. What would happen if you would have went with another guy? What would happen if I went with another woman? How would we be where we're at? So to answer your question, no, probably not. To answer your question, did she have that in her? Yes, because she has it now, but I had to mold it. We had to mold it. It's like people are like clay, right? Just like kids, and they're like clay. We got to mold them into seeing what their potential is.
Right.
And I had to definitely do that.
And I love that, because I definitely believe, my personal view is everybody has the potential, but not everybody knows that they have it. And I believe people quit before they're successful. And that's unfortunate. Most people, and I'm sure you know this in business, there's something that just doesn't work out, and you keep going and plugging away because you believe in whatever your concept is. And some people just throw in the towel, and it's unfortunate. But, those of us that keep going, we're the survivors, and that's what makes the difference between people that will take the risk and people that don't.
So many people quit before
The greatness.
Yeah, I believe that, you are the person that you are because of the people that you surround yourself with, right? So if you surround yourself with a lot of people that are doing bad things, guess what? You're going to learn how to do bad things,
That's
right? So
You trying to tell me, ladies, Sandra? Hang out with 4 broke people, you'll be number 5.
no, that's right.
Hang out with 4 millionaires, something's gonna rub off, right? And you'll be a
Absolutely.
millionaire as well. So going back to what Steven said, the reason why they were laughing was because they were laughing at me, because on the previous show, I said that I didn't believe that your spouse or your wife could be your best friend.
Yes.
What's your take on that?
Dude, she is my best friend.
There you go.
She's everything. I mean, I can talk to her like I'm talking
everything, right?
like I'm talking to a dude.
Exactly.
And I don't have any shame in it. There's no consequences. Now I can't disrespect her.
Of course.
Obviously.
Of course.
But if we're out somewhere and I'm saying some stuff like I'm talking to a dude, I can do that.
That's a man's
Dude, that is another layer of mental freedom that some people don't have.
Ooh, I don't have it.
But it's because that's the kind of relationship that you have. She is your best friend. And with a best friend, you talk about anything and everything, and you feel comfortable with that person.
Yeah.
And that, I think that a lot of people are lacking that best friend, like you said, before anything else. They just want to hop into bed and,
And they have to walk on eggshells.
Yeah.
And you walk on eggshells when you're significant enough.
Adding to what Sandra said, they actually molded the relationship like clay.
Mhm.
So now they're at this level where they're able to talk about stuff like that. I guess I was being superficial, and Johnny and I have talked about this. Most of our conversations are always about not being superficial or transactional, but going in a little bit deeper. And I guess the relationships that I've had, I haven't been able to express myself like a best friend because I always feel like there's got to be a persona. Like I've got to be, Mr. Goody Two-Shoe Man for this woman.
I think that's the problem, is that you're trying to be somebody that you're not.
Right.
And that is a problem because, like with me, what you see is what you get. I can, I can be very harsh. I've been known to
tell it like it is.
Tell it like it is.
Not
and
you,
Some
Sandra.
people like me and some people don't like me. But I am who I am, and I'm not changing for anybody.
Yep.
And that I think that's the problem, is that you are trying to be who you are not for that specific person. And after a while, the real you comes out.
And they may not like it.
And they may not like the real you because you changed for them for that particular moment in time. And that's not cool.
That's a very sensitive thing.
I'm going to go on top of that because I was actually having this discussion with someone else. It's like a facade. When you live in a facade, whether it's makeup, whatever, we all play a part. And like what we're on podcasts may not be who we are in public. But if you are, then you don't have to remember who that persona is. You put on your shirt the same way every single day when you look in that mirror, you know who you are. Now, again, we all have things sometimes at bad parts of our lives. We have to psych ourselves out that we are better than what we are at that current stage. But if you don't like what you see in the mirror, then you got to fix that first before you ever do anything else.
There was a famous bike builder by the name of Indian Larry out of New York. And Indian Larry said, "I don't lie because it's just more things for me to remember."
That's right.
And for me, that's correct. You see how much I am in the text. I have no time to worry about the persona. Now, have I done it? Hell yeah, I've done it. I've done it when I was in investments. I was a persona. I had to act a certain way, but I didn't do tech stuff. So now I got to worry about this and concentrate. I have no time to worry about the personality that I'm trying to display and who to display it to.
And that's one of my messages on social media, especially. You see a lot of irregularities in people, and you're like, that's not who that person is. Why are they talking like this when they're not really like that? Practice what you preach. Like you guys said, if you are who you are, you're on this, people know you on social media or the same, like, I am who I am. I always say the same shit, right? All the time.
Yeah.
Level up and all. That's what I tell people. I grab people, not in that way. I grab them by the arm and I say, "Hey, come here. You got so much potential, my man. Let me help you." Or I don't just force it on them. I was like, "Do you want me to give you some advice?
Are you open for some coaching?
And if not, cool. Keep doing what you're doing. But I can see something in you
that you may not be able to see yourself."
Right. And imposter syndrome, that's a real thing. I saw that somebody was talking about Jacob Davis. That's a real thing. People people look at themselves differently from what they display, right? Yeah. If you look at yourself in a different way than you're displaying, there's a problem in there. And same thing in relationships. Don't be someone who, don't be fake to your spouse or to your kids.
Or your potential spouse.
Or don't pretend you're some holier than thou person or, goody two shoes with your spouse, but that you're cheating on her.
Right.
Or doing some shit, right? I mean, that's real talk. That happens all the time.
Woke up Melania and look at that.
Yeah. No, I mean,
or you're there flirting, sexting, doing all these things.
There is an individual that I know, a man who on social media, my wife, my family, my this, my that, and hanging out at the strip club, and but there's one thing about hanging out at the strip club when his spouse knows or when she knows.
My spouse goes with me.
But exactly. But there's another thing when you have to lie about where you're at, who you're with, and how much money you spent because you were at the strip club and she doesn't know it.
Right.
Yeah, man, I know people like that, and it's you're living a double life. And going back to what you said, shout out to Jacob Davis. Jacob Davis says, "I make no bones about it." Which this is the what you see is what you get. We make no bones about it. I am who I am. Sometimes people will kind of tone me down. "Hey, you should have posted that," or whatever. And sometimes I just run with it because I don't want to be fake. I don't want to live a double life. I want to be that person. But sometimes when it comes to relationships, sometimes when you absolutely are falling in love with yourself, you're able to be yourself. Sometimes when you want people to love you, like you, because I have that problem. I want everybody to like me. But I realize
nobody's always going to like you.
Yeah.
Everybody, not everybody is for everybody.
Right.
And I've learned to understand that and live with that because, there is some people here that are going to love you And there's some people that are just gonna.
And sometimes for the wrong reasons. Sometimes for no reason.
Sometimes,
Or maybe just who you affiliate with.
Ooh.
yeah. Sometimes that's true.
Maybe
That's
just
true.
who's on your Facebook friends list.
Maybe
Oh,
because
I mean,
you're
it's
a
just a bunch of
Republican. Maybe because you're a Democrat. Maybe
Right.
because you're a liberal. Maybe because you're whatever.
Communist.
And a communist. People just dislike you just because of
Hey guys, I'm just kidding.
you are.
I'm sorry I said that.
What?
I believe everyone has a political right. I don't believe in communism, so just get that out of here.
Because he didn't want to offend the comments. So there he goes right there.
Pretending who he's not supposed to be. You know, I think what I do is like in some of my
Thank
business
you, Johnny, for
ventures-
supporting that joke. Like you got it right away. They were like, "What?"
No, I got it. I believe in management is you lead by example. Like no matter who you are, what's always made me successful is if I forget how it was to be at the bottom and I can't do what I'm asking them to do, then how can I tell them or instruct them and them to carry it out?
Right.
So it's several times, you know, and I think that also believes also like when you're in the relationship with your wife and then going into business, you got to lead by example. When you have that transparency, you know that, hey, this what you see is what you get. Then you've got a more person that is going to believe and may not agree with it and say, this sounds kind of weird, but you know what? You've done so well. And if we fail, we fail together.
Right.
And that's a great thing. You got to lead by example. Because other than that, you're just really just sitting up high and thinking of everything and really not just putting yourself in those positions.
You know what? That's
Smart
funny.
emotions.
It's funny you say that because recently I was talking to someone and, you know, they were in solar. I was in solar and we talked about our journey, where they're at now. And they said to me, before you get into business with someone, before you marry them, and this is where the relate to elevate comes in, before you marry someone, make sure you know how to divorce each other. And I was like, what? And in my mind, I'm thinking, why are you thinking about failing? And he said, no, it's an occurrence that happens all the time in business. Before you guys get married in business and start together in LLC, you guys got to write down what happens if this dissolves. What do you get? What do I get? How do we walk away from it? How do we divorce? And I think that's something very important that a lot of us don't do. A lot of us just jump into something, right? Whether it works out or not, we just jump into it. And back to what we were saying, relate to elevate. Like I was telling Johnny before we went on the air that I had a friendship. I had a friendship with a few folks, and we went into business together. We didn't plan the exit strategy because no one's planning to, fail. But unfortunately, we don't talk to each other. Out of 3 or 4 friends, like 3 of us don't talk to one person, which may be the common denominator, but that's not here or there. The point is that we lost a friendship. We lost a bond. We can't go over to the house anymore. We can't do holidays together. We can't have dinners together. The spouses or my girlfriend at the time, we cannot hang out together. So it's very important that if you're going to get into business, that you have to play devil's advocate. What if this doesn't work out? We need to make sure that we can still continue to be friends because business is business and friendship is friendship. And sometimes when we intermingle both and things don't work out, we wind up on opposite ends. Now you're no longer my friend. Now we're someone we knew and someone we can't stand or someone that became an enemy. So what advice do you have for something like that? Because I know that you're an entrepreneur, you've got different businesses. How do you cautiously get into something, a business, knowing that you have a friendship?
Just like I talked about my wife in the beginning, you got to be friends and then you got to be partners. So friends and then business, right? You just have to structure maybe some kind of script or something, or you verbalize it, but it's better to do it on paper. The exit strategy, just in case something happens. I don't personally like going into business with other people, just to be honest with you. I'm not trying to be that guy that I don't like. I love collaborating, but not necessarily in my businesses, right? So in real estate, I like having a small team, just my wife and I, because I can't duplicate heart, passion, all these other things into others. So that's my biggest pet peeve. If you're going to bring it, you better freaking bring it. And if you're going to be on my team, you better go 100%. So that's why I have a hard time finding business partners.
Goes back to Stevens,
right?
You got to be able to walk the walk so that you can lead by example.
My age, at 48 years old, I go balls to the wall every day. I wake up hungry. I wake up starving for not only success, but to help others, right? And so to answer your question, hopefully answer your question, right? The exit strategy, you got to set expectations. You got to set standards. You got to set goals, mission statements, all these things. This is what we're going to do together. And if you're not all in, we're going to have to find another way out of this. So give yourself, timelines. By 4 months in, 6 months in, 8 months in, are we going to be here? What's our goal? Is it monetary? Is it how many families have we served? Is it, building relationships with these people in the industry? What is our goal? Because you have ultimately to run a business, you want your monetary, right? You want monetary wins, of course. Let's just be honest. You need to, pay your employees, have overhead, all that taken care of. But what else are you trying to get out of it? So there's got to be subcategories. And if you're not meeting those goals and subcategories, we have a meeting about. Hey, Cristian, we're not meeting this, man. I see that you're not waking up early in the morning. I see that you're not putting forth your best effort. You're not meeting these goals and building these relationships. What's going on? So you have talks about it. That way it makes it easier when you're breaking up, if it comes to that.
Right.
So, but it's also preventative maintenance to breaking up, because now we're talking about it prior to shit hitting the fan.
So
that's hopefully I answered your question.
So one thing that I had spoken to Cristian about was there's attorneys out there that put the breakups together, right? So if anything, I suggest get yourself a good business attorney that puts all those things for you. That way, in the event that you do have to break up, you know exactly what's coming.
Yep.
But Sandra's a serial entrepreneur as well.
Okay, but you guys agree you got to have talks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's again, not to put a friendship on a business level, but it is about the ROI, what your return on investment.
Right.
And if it's not monetary, your time is invested with that. What are you growing? And I firmly believe in that. I try to look at it. I love to play chess, so I play the game out, and I know what the moves are going to be. Maybe they'll make a different move, and maybe that's going to be a great one. But sometimes I already know the way the game's going to play.
Right.
Hopefully it's surprising, but sometimes it's just what it is. That's the way my brain works.
Yeah. And I like associating with partners. If I do go with partnership, smart people, people that have good relationships and all these things, people that are going to make me better. Right. Now I'm all about making people better, but how are you going to make me better as well? And are you going to give me mentorship, guidance? Am I going to, be able to grow from your tutelage, mentorship, so I need that.
You said that because
two-way
some people plateau because they're the biggest fish in the pond.
Yeah, you can't be the biggest fish.
You can't be.
If you're the smartest person in the room, you need to go to another room.
Yeah, go to a different pond, go to a different room. Because other people that are more successful than you, they're going to rub off on you. They're going to lead the way. You're going to be able to take some examples. You're going to be able to take some mentorship. You're going to be able to take some lessons of what they're doing and how you can level up and how you can elevate your business game.
Yeah. And people that are subpar in production always burden you a little bit too. They affect you as well. Because now you're having headaches, you're having all these burdens. Man, I should have gone into business with. And now you're kind of jaded. You're like, man, this relationship sucks with them. And I want to break up with them. And so either you're going to be a high producer at the same time, or if one of you is not producing, it kind of burdens me a little bit. I start getting stressed out.
Yeah.
And then I start, getting agitated. And then I'm like, dude, what's going on? And then it kind of ruins. Because nobody likes feedback. Nobody likes getting negative feedback.
Yeah, Steve is my business partner. When he said that, he said, I come to the place. We'll talk about that later.
Do people traditionally like getting negative feedback?
You know what? No, but it's weird how you I guess it's for me. And we talk about the package. Right. When I was told, I was raised in management. I went to Texas A&M University, but I worked at this company a long time ago. I don't know how long you lived here in San Antonio, but it was a call center called West
Telemarketing.
Yes. And I started at the bottom as a regular on the phone person. I had experience in a hospital, and here I am just selling, I think at the time, AT&T. And I was really good at it. So the lady that was my mentor or helped me up the ranks, we would call it the sandwich method. So, you're going to, first of all, praise them and tell them some positive things about them. The second thing, you're going to advise about the issues that they're having. And then the next level, you're going to build them up and motivate them to get there out. But some people just say, hey, you know what? You're doing X, Y, and Z terrible. And then that's when they tune out. They don't care what the hell you're saying, even if it's valuable information, but everybody likes to be rewarding.
Right.
It's just small little things that you tweak with your words and how that message is received.
That's the difference between a manager and a leader.
Yes,
That's in some
exactly. And like in the old phrase people used to say is that people that can do, people that can't teach. And my mom is a teacher, a retired teacher. And I actually, as I've grown older, I've changed that ideology because honestly, in my opinion, teaching people or like mentoring, especially when it's a variety of different personalities, niches, and things of that nature, that's higher level intelligence than actually just doing. Someone can repeat a process and keep going and be successful in it. But it's very difficult for another person to identify what motivates that individual and to push that button in them internally and intrinsically and to make them successful as well.
right.
Yes. And I realized that. And that was one of the questions that I had for Johnny. Now, our show is basically, we just have conversations. There's no script. There's no acting. There's no, I was on a podcast once and they gave me like a laundry list of questions that we're going to ask and the way I should answer. Dude, let's just be real, right? And there was just so many criteria that I needed to meet to be on it that when I was on it, I was turned off. Like, this is all scripted. It doesn't make any sense. So as I'm driving here to the studio, I'm thinking, what can I ask Johnny? Because we're just going to have a conversation. What can I ask Johnny? One of the questions that I had was that I'm assuming that you've been in real estate long enough to be a broker. Why aren't you a broker? But you already answered that.
I talked about earlier.
You're like, no one has that grind, that hustle, the way that I do, and the expectations are pretty high to be on my team.
I'd be stressed the hell out, Cristian.
Yeah.
I can have 100, 200 agents, but if half of them aren't producing, I'm going to be stressed the hell out.
Yeah, you got high overhead. Right. In most businesses, labor is your highest expense.
Right. Yeah, and I've been around real estate in San Antonio for a few years now. The last numbers I got were like 15,000 registered agents to the San Antonio Board of Realtors, but only a handful are practicing or making money.
Dude, I can make a hell of a lot more money if I was a broker. Let's just keep it real.
Right. That's why I was prompting that question.
Money is not everything to me.
Ooh.
Sanity, time, not having burdens on my shoulders,
peace of mind,
peace,
less
all
stress.
of these things. So when I just deal with my wife and I in the real estate world, it's simple. We're going to be okay.
And killing the game.
Right. And killing.
Love it.
I don't have to worry about all these extracurricular things on who's producing and who's not. As long as my wife and I are producing, that's all that freaking matters.
Man, I love that you say that. And going back to Relate to Elevate, having a friendship with Johnny, my cousin's in California. Shout out to Alex. Alex is California's a lineman, also Marine. And Alex is like, hey, man, Houston taxes are killing me. I want to go to San Antonio. I'm like, what do you mean? And he's that type of guy. He's like, I'm going to sell my house over there. I'm going to move over there. Who do you know is a realtor? I said, let me find you someone. He's like, never mind. I already found someone in Zillow. I go, whoa, hold on. I don't care who you find on Zillow. I got a guy who's also military. You guys are the same way, very structured. You guys say exactly what you want to happen. You guys come from that disciplined background. I said, let me hook you up with this guy. And it goes back to having these friendships and relationships, because now, full circle, I've been on Johnny's podcast, which I'm wearing the shirt. He's now on our podcast. He was a sponsor to our last event. What am I doing now? Send him a referral. And now my cousin said, not only do I want to buy a house, I also want to rent a house. Can you find out with someone? Yeah, Johnny's the guy, right? So we're going full circle, because when you develop good friendships like that, karma, it's going to come back to you. It's going to come back to you some way, absolutely, some shape, somehow. So yeah, I appreciate for everything that you do, Johnny. Appreciate that.
And guys, a lot of people wouldn't say that on camera in public, saying why they wouldn't want to be a broker. They wouldn't.
No.
Because this imposter syndrome shit, I don't have to worry about being an imposter. I'll be honest with you. And you ask me some other shit, I'll tell you. But yeah, I mean, you got to keep it real. You got to keep it real with people. Because then people are going to slip you out.
So I just got a question, Cristian. So does this mean I can be my usual vocabulary? Because I love his vocabulary.
Use your vocabulary. Yeah, don't be an imposter.
Okay.
Well, see, when we first talked about the concept, I said, don't be dropping F-bombs. She says, I'm not going to go in there and beep, 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 beep. I said, don't. Because we want to attract a certain... See, this is where it goes to...
When you're passionate, though.
This is where it goes to identity. Yeah. And Steve was like, no, I just got to be myself. I'm like, yeah, but
who do we want to attract? We want to attract all the,
Is that what you're talking about? F-bombs?
Yeah, not F-bombs. So you know my
I think I said
vocabulary.
freaking.
You know my vocabulary.
No, we don't care.
You know, I curse. And when I came on, the very first, like, Sandra's going to be there. She don't like that. Don't do this. And I'm
I
like,
started prepping him.
and I'm like, but Cristian, this is me. Like, this is the way I am. Like, no matter what. And he's like, just don't. I'm like,
It goes back to
okay,
what you said.
I'm going to respect
Now he was going to
Sandra.
be an imposter, being someone he's not. But then our first episode, these two hit it off. I'm like, oh, shit. Like,
Yeah.
all right. And he was, being himself.
You think these guys, Gary Vee and Dave Goggins and Joe Rogan,
I love him
and all
already,
that,
dude. So
care about what people think about their vocabulary? No, they keep it real.
Exactly. And what we talked about, is that that's what makes them more authentic. Again, we talk about the brain and how it works. When you're starting to think, because I know how fast my brain is triggering, and I have to think, separate that word. You got to do this. And it's not that I have a poor vocabulary. It's just that's the way I convey stuff. And I think it's from where I used to do being an investment broker. That's just the way you're firing at your client. And that's just the way it was.
You talked like that to your client?
Oh, I talked even worse.
You know what else? People don't dare to say on camera? I was wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I was wrong.
Oh.
Is that what you wanted to hear?
No, I don't want it.
Here's another aha moment.
I don't want it.
I was wrong. And I'm glad that you're yourself.
I don't need to hear it.
Okay?
I'm just
That way I don't fucking hear it anymore. I'm just kidding. Beep it out. I'm kidding. I usually don't drop it.
This was an aha moment, sir.
It is. No,
I
it
would
is.
recommend just talking like a drunken cigarette.
No. But be yourself.
But if you're going to be passionate about something, and
course.
you
Right.
drop an F-bomb or say the word shit or something, hey, we're people.
See,
Because when you're out having dinner with some friends, you're going to hear those words.
right.
If that is your vocabulary.
Yeah, it is. Now, I do
We're
tone it down
adults
for
and we're
you.
mature.
I do tone it down out of respect for Sandra. And I could do it. But it was like when he said he had a whole long list. It was like, here's your list of things. I'm like, dude, this is not even me. But I wanted to make it happen. We had the concept. I think it was a brilliant concept Cristian had thought of. I know that as I've grown to work with Sandra, it's an excellent bond because now I see her and I are actually the same personality and we match. So like when I say something to Cristian, he's like, I don't know what you mean. And she's like, well, he meant
Gets
this,
her right
this,
away.
and this.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what I said.
And I'm like, no, you
he's like-
said this. And then Sandra interprets exactly what he means. And I'm like, what? That's not what you said. But Sandra said, oh, he meant this and this and this and that. I'm like, no, he just said this. She said, no.
And I think to go back to that is that, and I'm not putting you out there, Cristian, but I think people have that, what they say has hidden meaning in what they say. And so some people, unfortunately, have to just try to decipher what they really are truly trying to say. And as Sandra and I, what I say is really what the hell I say. And that's just what it is. I didn't mean anything else. That's just what I say. And so not picking at him, but it's very rare. And I like when you have a genuine person that, look, I don't want you to like me. If you do, fantastic. If you work with me, even great. Because whatever I'm going to do for you is going to be the best.
Right.
But you don't have to like me. And I'm not going to lose any sleep if you don't.
Make a long story short, let me translate. They both bully me on this show. It's okay. Now you just kind of rat it onto the flame. It's okay. Now I have three against me. I get it. I'm not.
No, it's not that. It's about we're trying to mentor and grow all of us together because there's a lot of things that, again, that you have disseminated to me that I appreciate, that I don't think about. I may not agree at first, but I listen, I digest and apply and fully look at the thing. Sometimes I tell you it's full of shit. And then sometimes I say you're right. So, that's what we're all about, to make sure that we all grow.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow. One of those aha moments. It is very
Yeah, we
therapeutic.
just had a moment here on the show.
Jeez. All right. That's it. I'm out. I guess you guys have a new host. All right, Johnny, take over. I'm out of here. Fuck this shit. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. So listen, Johnny, how can people get a hold of you? I think we've done quite a bit of damage here. And it's not the first time we're going to have you on the show. We'd love to have you back. We also want to go out and check out the Collab Space. Tell us about all of your businesses. If you like, tell us about the different ventures that you have, how they can reach you, all that good stuff.
So my wife and I help people buy and sell homes. We're Top Flight Realty Group. Find us at topflightrealtygroup.com. Also on Facebook.
Flight. I like it.
So some people say Top Flight Security of the World. That's from Friday.
Friday, yeah.
Yeah, it was Friday After Next or one.
I don't know.
And we also own Party People Photo Booth. So if you're looking for
Okay.
fun memories, capture. We do a lot of marketing with party people photo booths. So people hire us. We do virtual photo booths as well. We did one with you.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Or kiosks. It'll have your business logo, whatever, that'll capture memories and capture analytics, and it'll have your logo going all across the globe.
Let's take a pause right there. Let me just say this. We had a Q4 launch, which we're going to have every single quarter. We're going to launch that quarter. The next one's coming up in January at Venture X. Shout out to Audrey McKnight. So we had that with the / launch of this podcast, which I still feel like we haven't officially launched it. Like we haven't made it a thing. We just want to throw a party, right? We just happen to be sponsored.
Launch a party.
Yeah, we just happen to be sponsored. But speaking of sponsors, Johnny was a sponsor with Top Flight Realty, and he was also a sponsor with Party People's Photo. So we really appreciate those two businesses that collaborated with us. All the drinks, all the food, the entertainment was provided by someone who was generous, like Johnny and his team.
Hey, you guys had a great turnout. I saw the photos. Unfortunately, I couldn't be here, but I was still here with my presence. Virtual and all that. I wanted to make sure that I took care of you guys, and because you guys take care of me as well.
Yep.
You take care of me today.
I have a quick question on that photo booth. First of all, I love the technology. Now, did you? Because the concept, I saw it briefly. I looked at it because we were rushing, and this was one of those things. I've never done an event. That's just not my thing. Cristian did an amazing job, and when I say I don't know how to do something, like I'm not that nerd that says I know how to do everything. So I had told Cristian, dude, I have no clue what to do. So I'm gonna shut up for once and let you lead because I have no idea how to do this stuff. So he gave me some tasks. I got the full experience just by observance, but I love that tech. And did you have that concept yourself on how you developed this?
So it's a software that I use.
Okay.
So what's cool is you can use a QR code or you can use a little URL link, and you can scan or you can go on the link, and then you can have a photo booth pretty much on your phone. It has a template. And it has a logo and it has everything, that a regular photo booth would, but it's just on your phone.
Pretty cool. Yeah. So definitely a different concept from what you see in the traditional photo booth where it's an actual physical thing. So I definitely, my hat's off to you on that.
Yeah. Thank you. So we've done events all over the globe pretty much because people hire us to do events. We've done Christmas parties and I'm not even there.
Right.
Of course. But Party People Photo Booth is there.
That's very cool.
And, so quinceañeras and a lot of marketing.
I love it.
Conferences, like week-long conferences where people could just take photos, selfies, and whatever. And it has the logo.
I love it.
And those are like hosted to a site and then they can pull them.
It's to a cloud.
Gotcha.
Yep. But they can email or text the photos to themselves. And I can also send the entire gallery.
Gotcha.
To whoever.
To whoever the host was.
Yes.
That was awesome.
That's cool.
So we got Top Flight Realty. We have Party People Photo Booths. What else you got going on?
Social Plug Media.
Social Plug Media right here.
Yep. So
we
love doing that because it's another layer of relationship building.
Mm-hmm.
It lets us get out in the community, build business or build relationships with small business owners, collaborators, influencers, so on and so forth through conversations. Because we all have conversations every single day. We have a conversation now.
A good conversation.
Build bonds and you build value. I know that's a cliche, building value, right? But it's true. You build value and you're able to connect with people. I've been able to connect with so many people. I got Alex Meixner. He's the Polka King. He's coming on my podcast tomorrow. So we got Worst Fest coming up. So we've had Sunny Salcedo. We've had Cristian Montalvo. We've had people that have had their legs amputated through car accidents. And the reason why we had him on there, that's Dylan Wild. He got into a car accident. Right. And he was one of our first podcast guests. And I wanted to tell his story, or he wanted to tell his story on you can still live and prosper without legs. Because there's people that are handicapped out there. I see them all the time, but I think people are handicapped in their brains.
I was about to say that. People are handicapped in their mind.
Not physically. I mean,
right.
You can do everything that you need to do.
Right.
But these people are still out there working, doing tickets over at the Santikos Theater. I see him.
There's another man, and please forgive me, I forget his name. No arms, no legs, public speaker.
I've seen him before too.
You know what I'm saying? Like
he's really good. He's good.
I think you're.
I don't remember where he's.
I think you're handicapped here. I mean, physically you're handicapped. I get it, but I think we put limitations and we enslave our minds.
Right.
because some sort of body body part that's no longer there.
Right. I think to me, it's just how bad do you want it? Right. Some people don't. Some people say they want it, but again, we go back again. They quit before they go. How bad do you want it? Like I hate people that give me excuses in regards to certain things because I already know about my past. And if I can do it, you can too. Like I know better than anybody else. I'm either A, I'd let them feel punishment, or B, I just don't give it. And it's the same thing but I'm just going to strive. My father always taught me, be the best at anything you do. Right. And that's it. Like, I will not stop. I will keep up. I know sometimes I will finish a project 4 a.m, but I have to, and it has to be the best. That's just the way.
And you'll lose sleep if you have that burden on your mind.
Yes.
That you got to get it done.
Yes. And it bothers the hell out of me.
Winners never quit and quitters never win.
Yep. And businesses don't fail. People just quit.
Yep. One thing that I recently learned, and I took it with me, is that champions are recognized in the ring, not in the gym. So sometimes people, they see successful entrepreneurs. Oh, I want to do that. I want to be like that. I want to be like this guy or that guy or her or whatever. They don't see behind closed doors all the work, sweat, tears, sacrifice that gets that happens before you get there. People only see like the end result. People don't see everything they had to go through in order to get there. People think it's easy. And then when people are starting to get there and they have a conflict, they have a situation, they've got life that happens at them, they will end up quitting. But they never end up there because now they're finding the easiest thing to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. That didn't work. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. If they stick to a process, they're eventually going to hit the pinnacle of that. But if they don't, they're going to wind up quitting their entire life.
Well, it's just like losing weight, People just see that you've lost weight and they're like, oh, she's lucky.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
I don't like when people say, oh, you're lucky.
Ooh.
Nice.
It must be nice. Yeah, it must be nice.
Yeah.
Well, it is nice. I worked really hard.
Yeah. The harder I work, the luckier I got.
And they don't like it. So I try to work for my shit. I don't get nothing. Now, part of it is luck. If you work hard enough, luck's going to go your way every once in a while.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course.
But it's not luck that I'm in this position.
Right. It's hard work and growth.
We started from nothing, man. Welfare, food stamps. I saw hard work. My parents both worked 2 jobs. And I saw the sacrifice and the determination that they had to put food on the table and put clothes on our back. And I tell my kids today, you guys are spoiled. You guys are privileged. Because you didn't have the same struggle that I did. So does that make me better than them? Not necessarily. But I'm a little bit more seasoned. I got more skins on the wall than they'll probably ever have. Because I had that determination and I have that grit. I always got to keep my head on a swivel. Because I know snakes in the grass. And I know all these different things that are happening. Kids today are kind of oblivious.
Yeah, I think social media shows, again, people see, someone go from here to a billionaire or a millionaire. But they, like Chris, they don't know all that struggle. Right. I remember Snapchat when the guy went public. Everybody thought, wow, great idea. You don't know how many hours that man probably designed and the failures and all that stuff. And they just don't get it. Like, they see you where you're at. I'd rather be with someone that sees me where I was low and let's go on the path together. Then you'll always have friends when you're at top. At the top, you'll always be around people. They'll always want to ride your coattails or be something. What matters is when you're on.
Yep, absolutely, man. That's the real you.
So talk to us about Collab Space.
So we got Collab Space Studios, and it is in downtown New Braunfels, beautiful, historic downtown New Braunfels, right next to Bootleggers Pizza and Oyster Bar. Those of you that have been there before, have you been there?
I have not. No.
So that's the home of the breakfast shop over at Oyster Bar. But anyways,
is it near Phoenix Saloon?
Kind of.
Gotcha.
All right. So Collab Space Studios is a rental space as well. So you can go in there and you can work, you can rent space.
Nice.
But the premise behind it is our collaborative space for podcasting, right? So like I said earlier at the top of the show, we have several podcast platforms, mine included the Social Plug Podcast, where we discuss and highlight ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
Oh, I like that.
Because we're all ordinary people, but we have superpowers. We do extraordinary stuff.
Absolutely.
I talked about the guy with, he doesn't have a leg. He's extraordinary. Because the average person might have just quit. Screw it. I'm out. I'm done.
Check out.
And a lot of it do.
Yep. And I've had a lot of people. So the premise behind it is these people telling their story on how they became successful through trials, tribulations, challenges, struggles, and how the audience can put themselves in the picture and say, man, I can do that too. So it's every episode is different. We can inspire, we can educate, we can motivate, we can, entertain, all these different things. But all that happens in Collab Space Studios.
Nice.
So we have several podcast platforms that we help people grow. And one of the biggest factors why people don't do a podcast is because they're just not confident on camera. But we also coach.
Oh, really?
And so we help them grow and get on camera and have that confidence to be able to just tell their story. We tell them, you're not going to be perfect. Hell, this podcast wasn't perfect. Well, we had great conversation.
We love it.
But
because it's real.
Perfect. I don't want you to be perfect. People don't want you to be perfect.
You want to be yourself.
If you want perfect, watch KSAT 12 or news with those guys that have been doing that kind of stuff.
Teleprompter, scripted, what you can and cannot say. Gotcha.
But just real people talking. That's next level stuff. So we have classes and kind of what you guys have here. Same premise, but on a smaller scale. But we're pretty proud of what we do and the ability to help people by storytelling, conversating. And I tell people all the time, just have conversations. You're practicing for bigger things. And you're not only practicing, but you are building confidence. You're finding out more about that person. You're building a relationship. So that's what we do, Cristian. In everything we do, we build relationships and we truly, genuinely help people. I'm the same person on camera as I am off camera. The way I'm talking here is the way I really talk. Because I have an audience too at home. Can you imagine if my kids saw my shit and they said, "Oh, Dad, that's not the way you are. You're not really like that." Man, that would make me feel like crap. Yeah. But I'm really like that with them. I'm like that with my wife. I'm like that with everybody. I'm just a passionate guy. Some people don't like it. They're like, "That guy's high strung. That guy's like, holy crap, that guy's intense." But I was a drill instructor in the Air Force too, so that it kind of comes from that as well. And I had a role in molding people. Teenagers, civilians to become military-minded people. And I take great pride in that. And I kind of do the same thing in my mentorship abilities and things like that. I'm one of those, if you ever hire me as a mentor, as a coach, I'm going to give you the real deal. I'm not going to tell you, "Oh, well, hey, sweetie, let's just try this." No. I'm going to do that sandwich. All right, you got potential to do this. This is where you're screwing up here. And I'm going to tell you how to fix it where you can be better. And that's my approach as well.
Yeah. So I can see that. I've never been in the military, but my father was. So it's definitely a different approach. But again, my father's lawyer was pretty sad. But, again, no one's an expert. It's like, take what you saw that you gained and how can you make it better? Right. And that's kind of what I take on in different tests.
Got it. All right, guys. So Cristian Montalvo here. We are running out of time, but we're not going to run out of an invitation to bring Johnny Martinez back again to drop some of those nuggets, some of that value. Any final thoughts, guys? Final thoughts on what we talked about today?
Now it's 3 against 1, so thanks for coming.
Yeah, look at me. It's all right.
We're letting you see the light. Not always what you think is your way is the right.
I'm still nasty. I'm still stubborn. It's all right. It's okay. Welcome to the Cristian Montalvo Show.
But he's learning.
He is learning.
Yeah.
He's growing. I thought, because when sometimes, again, we're all resistant to change. That's just human nature. But when you grasp it and you get it on your time, that's when it's impactful. Because nobody's going to make you do anything. You have to want to do it yourself.
Right.
That's enough bullying time for us today. We encourage you guys to come back and check out our podcast, Relate to Elevate, where we're relating those personal, romantic, family relationships onto business so you can elevate your business. My name is Cristian.
I do have one little thing. On the last episode, you said about my unconfirmed girl. She wanted to say she is a confirmed woman to you and that she will tell you it's fun.
I don't know how we did that. I was saying goodbye to interrupt this. So that's my brain.
You needed to.
My brain was just triggering.
All right, we'll cut that out. Guys, on behalf of Cristian Montalvo, Sandra Gonzalez, and Steven Herrera, we are unplugging with Mr. Johnny Martinez, but we're going to plug him back up for our next invitation.
You're being rude. Say our own name.
What?
Say our own name and say our own goodbyes. Don't you feel like
fine? This is a third goal.
This is the
guys. Guys, thank you for joining us today on Relate to Elevate podcast. My name is Cristian Montalvo.
Sandra Gonzalez with Melania.
And Steven Herrera.
And get out there and vote, everybody.
Get out there and vote. Get out there and vote.
Oh yeah, we have a few more days, right? And I think Monday is the last day they can vote ahead of time, like early vote.
All right, guys, Cristian Montalvo here. Relate to Elevate. We got the one, the only superstar rock star, Mr. Johnny Martinez today. Stay tuned. We're going to go ahead and edit our show. We're going to put it out there for the world to see. But in the meantime, make sure you check out Relate to Elevate podcast. Thank you so much.
Peace out.